Hello everyone. Today our next topic is Jupyter Notebooks with Python library. I create a PPT for you. Just a second. The PPT will be open within a second. And after this, we discuss about the some Java lectures. This is a banner for Microsoft Learn student. Next, we go for the our today topic, that is get started with Jupyter Notebooks for Python. So first of all, what are the prerequisites? So you need to understand the two things. The first one is understand basic programming concept, and the next one is have Python 3 installed locally. And next we go for learning objectives. In the learning objectives, we have three sections. The first one is create a Jupyter notebook locally. Then run a Jupyter notebook by using Python in Visual Studio Code. And the last one is describe some of the ways to build a notebook. Next, what is the agenda for this PPT? So first we have introduction, then setup, the environment, then exercise, then again exercise. In the first exercise we have create and run your notebook. In the other exercise we have advanced command. In the last, knowledge check. These are the five things that we discussed in today's lecture. And next agenda continue with summary. Yeah, first of all introduction. So although web developers build their website by using tools such as Node.js, ASP.NET or Java, and run their code locally by using tooling in code editors such as Visual Studio Code, Python developers has some other tools at their disposal. Next we have some scenario. Suppose you are a crew member of a spaceship. Your mission is to deliver some important equipment to the International Space Station. If you are not familiar with some of the many buttons on the spaceship console, it's better not to learn by the trial and error method and mid-fight. Instead, you might consult the ship documentation to learn what buttons to push to perform various tasks. But what if the manual is incomplete? Your job is to improve the ship log by creating interactive explanation of the ship controls. By working with the notebook, you can more easily explain the uses of various parts of the console. Next we go for how will you learn. By the end of this module, you will able to create a Jupyter notebook locally. Next, you can run a Jupyter notebook by using Python in Visual Studio Code. And the last one is describe some of the way to build a notebook. So these are the three steps you can continue with the module. Next we have what is the main goal. So take advantage of notebooks as a tool to create a more interactive learning experience. Now we have set up your environment. In the setup of your environment, there are many ways to run notebooks. The first is Python, second is Visual Studio Code, and the third one is Visual Studio Jupyter extension. In the first step, it install Python. If you don't have Python installed on your computer, you need to download. So for a Mac, go to python.org to install the latest version compatible with your operating system. And for the Windows, go to the Microsoft Store to download the most recent version. If you already have Python installed, you might need to update your installation to the latest version. Make sure you have Python 3 by typing Python 3 version in your terminal or command line. If it is installed, the version will be displayed. So it shows how to verify your software is latest or not by the command. Next we have install Visual Studio Code. Next we go for the install the Python extension. When these two installations are complete, you will then need to install the Visual Studio Code extension. Then we go for exercise, create and run your notebook. So these exercises we discuss after some time. First we clarify the doubts for the Jupyter Notebook. Yeah, first we have agenda. Jupyter Notebook is an open source web application that allows to create and share documents that contain live code, equations, and visualization and narrative text. It is widely used in data science, machine learning, and academic research due to its interactivity and ease of use. And there are many key features of the Jupyter Notebook. So first five features I discussed with you. The first one is interactive coding. Second one is its text support. Third one is visualization. Fourth one is multi-language support. Fifth one is modular and extensible. And the last one is data science and machine learning. In the interactive coding, you can write Python code in other languages also or in cells, execute them and see the result immediately within the notebook. Second one is rich text support. Jupyter supports Markdown, which allows you to include format text, links, images, and latex math equations alongside your code. And the third one is visualization. Jupyter integrates well with popular Python libraries like Matplotlib, Seaborn, Plotly, and others, enabling rich interactive data visualization directly in the notebook. And the fourth feature is that is multi-language support. Although Jupyter Notebooks originally supported Python, it has since expanded to support other languages like R, Julia, Scala, and many more via different kernels. And the fifth one is modular and extensible. You can install various extensions and plugins to add additional features such as interactive widgets, version control, and integration with tools like GitHub. And the last one is data science and machine learning. Jupyter is a popular for data exploration and analysis and experimentation. It allows you to run code in blocks, inspect variables, plot graphs, and explore datasets without having to rerun the entire script. Next, we have how to use the Jupyter, notebooks. So first we have installation. Jupyter can be installed via pipe or conda. The most common way is to install it through the Anaconda distribution, which provides many data science libraries pre-installed, or you can install it directly using pip install notebook. These are the command. If you write this command pip install notebook, then it can automatically download in your system. Next we have running Jupyter Notebook. Once your command is done and Jupyter is installed in your system, then in your terminal, open a web interface where you can create, open and run notebook files with .ipynb file extension. In the last we have saving and exporting. Notebooks can be saved in the .ipynb format and shared easily. They can also be exported to formats like HTML, PDF, or slide for presentation. And in the next slide, we have what are the common use cases. So these are the three common use cases. The first one is exploratory data analysis, educational purposes, and the third one is prototyping and experimentation. In the exploratory data analysis, data scientists often use Jupyter for quick exploration of datasets, performing tasks like cleaning data, generating statistics, and visualizing trends. And in the second, we have educational purposes. Jupyter notebooks are widely used in teaching because they combine code and rich text explanation in one document. I repeat again, Jupyter notebooks are widely used in teaching because they combine code and rich text explanation in one document. And the last use case is prototyping and experimentation. You can you can write small pieces of code, test data, visualize results, and tweak parameters interactively. Next, we have what are the example of a simple notebook. So, a typical Jupyter notebook might look like this. The first one is cell 1, Markdown cell explaining the analysis of code. Cell 2, code cell containing Python code. Cell 3, code cell with additional analysis and visualization. Markdown cell summarizing result. These are the fourth one. I repeat again all the four cells. The first cell shows the Markdown cell explaining the analysis or code. The second one is code cell containing Python code. And the third cell is it shows with additional analysis and visualization. And the last one is Markdown cell summarizing result. Each cell can be executed independently and the output of each code cell is shown directly below it. And what are the benefits of these cells? The benefit I explain you. Yeah. So there are three benefits. The first one is interactivity, second one is documentation, and the third one is portability. In the interactivity, it instant feedback. It instantly gives feedback when running code, making debugging and testing faster. Second one is documentation. It helps for combining code with documentation in the same document, is great for reproducibility. And the last one is portability. Notebooks can be easily shared and opened by others with Jupyter installed. Jupyter Notebooks are widely adopted in data science, academia, and research for their ease of use, interactive capabilities, and versatility in combining code and documentation in a single document. These are the instructions about the Jupyter Notebook. Before this, we go for the setup and environment. So we discussed already introduction, setup, environment, exercise, and knowledge pending. First, we again repeat the introduction about the Jupyter Notebook. So although web developers build their websites by using tools such as Node.js, ASP.NET, or Java, and run their code locally by using tooling in code editors such as Visual Studio Code, Python developers have there some other tools at the disposal. Next, we discussed a scenario based on the Jupyter Notebook. So, the scenario is based on a spaceship. Suppose you are a crew member on a spaceship. Your mission is to deliver some important equipment to the International Space Station. You can also call it as ISS. If you are not familiar with some of the many buttons on the spaceship console, it's better not to learn by trial and error method mid-flight. Instead, you might consult the ship documentation to learn what button to press to perform various tasks. But what if the manual is incomplete? Your job is to improve the ship log by creating interactive explanation of the ship controls. I repeat again, your job is to improve the ship's log by creating interactive explanation of the ship controls by working with a notebook. You can more easily explain the use of a various parts of the controller. Next we have knowledge check. Knowledge check not currently running. So first we go for the what will you learn. By the end of this module, you will able to create a Jupyter notebook locally. You can also run a Jupyter notebook by using Python in Visual Studio Code. And the third step we describe some of the ways to build a notebook. And what is the main goal? So your main goal is to take advantage of notebooks as a tool to create a more interactive learning experience. Now again we go for the setup the environment for the installation of Python. So if you don't have Python installed on your computer, you need to download it. So for Mac user, go to python.org to install the latest version compatible with your operating system. And for Windows, go to the Microsoft Store to download the most recent version. If you already have Python installed, you might need to update your installation to the latest version. Make sure you have Python 3 by typing Python 3 version in your terminal or command line, or also you can say as start prompt. If it is installed, the version will be displayed. And next we go for the install Visual Studio Code. So for the installation of Visual Studio Code, next we go for the extension which are used in the deeper section of Visual Studio Code. When these two installations are complete, you will then need to install a Visual Studio Code extension. Then we have exercise. In the last 5 minutes, we discussed the exercise on the basis of Jupyter Notebook. Currently, we don't focus on these slides. So first you only focus on the how to run and set up your environment. These are done. Learning objectives, create Jupyter Notebook locally. Then we have run a Jupyter Notebook by using Python. These are completed. Then we have described some of the ways to build a notebook. So these are the introduction. Already covered this scenario, cover this. What will you learn? Cover. Main goal is covered. Then we have set up your environment, installation of Python, installation of Visual Studio Code, and also installation of VS Code extension. Now we go for the last. In the last 5 minutes, we discuss about the knowledge check. Before the knowledge check, I again repeat you the step. So what are the Jupyter notebooks and everything about it? So Jupyter Notebook is an open source web application that allows you to create and share documents and contain live code, equations, visualization, and narrative text. It is widely used in data science, machine learning, and academic research due to interactivity and ease of use. What are the key features? So these are the 4 5 key features. I again repeat you. The first one is interactive coding. Second one is rich text support. Third one is visualization. Fourth one is multi-language support. Fifth one is modular and accessible. And the last one is data science and machine learning. So in the first three features, I again repeat you. So in the interactive coding, you can write Python code in Shell, execute them, and see the result immediately within the notebook. Next we have rich text support. Jupyter support Markdown, which allows you to include format text, links, images, and latex math information alongside your code. Next we have visualization. Jupyter integrates well with popular Python libraries like Matplotlib, Seaborn, Plotly, and others, enabling rich interactive data visualization directly in the notebook. Next, we have multi-language support. Although Jupyter Notebooks originally supported Python, it has since expanded to support other languages like R, Julia, Scala, and many more via different kernels. Next, we have modular and extensible. You can install various extensions and plugins to add additional features such as interactive widgets, version control, and integration with tools like GitHub. And the last one is data science and machine learning. Jupyter is a popular for data exploration, analysis, and experimentation. It allows you to run code in block, inspect variables, plot graphs, and explore dataset without having to rerun the entire script. And these are the introduction about the Jupyter Notebook and what are the use cases, how to use it. So these are the installation. Yeah, for the installation, Jupyter can be installed via PIP or Anaconda. The most common way to install it through the Anaconda distribution, which provides many data science libraries pre-installed, or you can install it directly using PIP install notebook. Next, we have running Jupyter Notebook. Once it's installed, you can start Jupyter by running Jupyter Notebook in the terminal command prompt. This opens a web interface where you can create open ended notebook and files with the help of .ipynb command. Also, for the saving and exporting the file, you can use the .ipynb format and share easily. They can also be exported to format like HTML, PDF or slide, and also in the form of presentation. So what are the use cases for the Jupyter Notebook? So first is the exploratory data analysis. Data scientists often use Jupyter for quick exploration of datasets, performing tasks like cleaning data, generating statistics, or visualizing trends. And another is educational purposes. Jupyter notebooks are widely used in teaching because they combine code and rich text explanation in one document. And the third one is prototyping and experimentation. You can write small pieces of code, test them, visualize results, and tweak parameters interactively. And in the example of a simple notebook, like we have four sections, the cell one contain markdown cell explaining the analysis of code. These are the after the install of the Python extension, we have four simple notebook that is in the form of cell. The first cell contains markdown cell explaining the analysis of code. Cell 2, code cell containing Python code. Third one is code cell with additional analysis and visualization. And the fourth cell is markdown cell summarizing result. Each cell can be executed independently and the output of each code is shown directly below it. Next we have benefit. So these are the three benefits: interactivity, documentation, and portability. So in the interactivity we have instant feedback when running code, making debugging and testing faster. Next we have documentation. So it combines code with documentation in the same document and great for reproducibility. And the third one is portability. Notebooks can be easily shared and opened by others with Jupyter installed. Jupyter notebooks are widely adopted in data science, academia, and research. and ease of use, interactive capabilities, and versatile of combining code and documentation in a single document. So these are all about the Jupyter Notebook. Now we go for the knowledge check. So these are slides for the create and run your notebook. We already discussed with a notebook is an interactive environment where you can both write code and document it. So what are the steps? So first you have to create a notebook, create a document, run your notebook and create numerical code. Now we go for the exercise. So first question one is what file extension does a Jupyter notebook have? So I repeat you many times. The answer is A. .ipynb file extension is used for a Jupyter notebook. Next we have which of the following answers include type of element in an interactive notebook? So the answer is none of the above. Equations and UI elements and charts and graphs are included in the type of element in the interactive notebook. And the last question is which of the following types of content blocks are available in a Jupyter notebook? Answer is Markdown. And last we have summary section. As an astronaut, you need to have a ship manual on hand to troubleshoot common problems on your spaceship. So, how to determine this situation? The first one is create a Jupyter notebook locally. Run a Jupyter notebook by using Python in VS Code. And the third one is describe some of the ways to build a notebook. And in the last we have references. This module introduces some core element of the many things you can do with Jupyter notebooks. Next I mentioned one link. You can easily check out the link and get the knowledge more about the Jupyter notebook. And these are for the today class. I again repeat the things which are discussed in today lecture. So first we have topic get started with Jupyter notebook for Python. Next we have prerequisite. These are the two main things we already discussed. Understand the basic programming concept. Next we have Python 3 installed locally. What are the learning objectives? You can easily create a Jupyter notebook locally. Run a Jupyter notebook by using Python in VS Code. And last is describe some of the ways to build a notebook. Next we go for the agenda. Next we go for summary, then um, introduction for the web developers, how they create a Jupyter notebook and run in their VS Code. Next we get a some scenario. Next we have what will you learn in this today lecture. Next what is the main goal. So take advantage of notebook as a tool to create a more interactive learning experience. Next we have set up your environment. So how to set up your environment? These are the three things: Python, VS Code, and VS Code extension. Next we have install Python. So for the installation of VS Code, what you have to determine? First one is Jupyter extension. You can easily search it and download it using VS Code. Next we have access for the run your notebook. And the last slide we discussed about the use advanced command about exercise. So knowledge check. What file extension does the Jupyter Notebook have? The first one, .ipynb, already covered. And which of the following answers include types of element in an interactive notebook? The answer is C, and this answer is C. Yeah, summary and reference. So that is for today class. Thank you for joining the class. And